Welcome to the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation 34th Annual Hall of Fame Induction Dinner. Presenting sponsor, Tom Gore's Family Foundation. Gold sponsor, Myrna and Steve Greenberg. Silver sponsor, Jaffe, Raitt, Hoyer and Weiss. Bronze sponsor, Vinnie Johnson, The Piston Group. Benefactor, the Detroit Tigers Foundation. Patron sponsor, Liz and JJ Modell.
So whether this is your first or 34th event, and I think I've been up here for all 34 events, it seems like it. We want to make sure that we want to make sure that our mission to honor all the Jewish individuals connected with the state of Michigan who have distinguished themselves in the sport and to foster Jewish identity through athletics. That's our mission, and here's our video.
Generosity, character, athletic, philanthropic, cancer, Jewish, sports, kids, raising money and giving it to others in need. In 1984, these were the principles that Alvin Foon used to come up with the idea behind the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation. Alvin's passion for sports, caring for others, was infectious, especially amongst his friends. It didn't take long before 5 of his friends, Seymour Broad, Mickey Fishman, Billy Jacobs, Myron Milgram, and Robert Steinberg got on board. And together they worked tirelessly to build a small, vibrant organization called the Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, created to both honor Jewish individuals who have distinguished themselves as athletes within the state of Michigan and to foster Jewish identity through athletics. The name was changed in 1998 to the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation to represent the growth of the organization and encompass the full spectrum of sponsored events in the community. Through the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation's annual fundraising initiatives and yearly charitable contributions due to the generosity of many individual donors, corporate sponsors, and family foundations here in Michigan and across the country, little did these 6 men realize that the organization they were starting would develop into one of the Detroit Jewish community's most successful philanthropic foundations. The Hank Greenberg Memorial Golf Invitational, with the unfailing support of Hank's son Steve Greenberg, has brought an incomparable succession of baseball all-stars to Metro Detroit to play golf and mingle with their fans. With great food and stars galore, this premier event is a can't-miss highlight of the summer, with proceeds benefiting the Lawrence and Idell Weisberg Cancer Treatment Center, Karmanos. The Hall of Fame induction dinner truly exemplifies the original goal of our founders, as athletes from Michigan or with a Michigan connection are honored for their achievements. The Hall of Fame, housed in the JCC in West Bloomfield, features walls and walls of plaques of sports notables honoring the Hall of Fame inductees, Alvin Foon recipients, the Pillars of Excellence, Jewish News High School Athlete of the Year, and additional academic scholarship winners. When you give, the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation has been able to donate over $1 million to help battle cancer through contributions to the Barbara Ann Karmanos Cancer Institute that supports technological innovations at the Lawrence and Idell Weisberg Cancer Center in West Bloomfield and other cancer charities. $100,000 to the Karmanos Genetic Counseling Service, an important initiative that provides genetic counseling and screening for anyone concerned about their risk of developing cancer. The Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation, in partnership with the Jewish News, has supported the Jewish News High School Athletes of the Year and other college scholarship programs. Since 1984, the foundation has supported sending thousands of special needs and underprivileged children to camp and sponsored and supported the Maccabi Games and other Jewish youth programming at the JCC and around Metro Detroit. A Hall of Fame and Foundation, annually raising money and giving it to others in need, helping those with cancer, assisting kids with college scholarships, bringing famous athletes to the area. What a legacy for 6 men who took a simple idea and with hard work and care has grown into a major accomplishment. 6 men whose collective vision has left an enduring mark on our Jewish community, not just for now, but for as long as there are men and women, boys and girls, who eagerly and boldly compete on their fields of dreams.
I could watch that video 100 times. I'm very proud of this organization. So I want to specifically and personally thank those founders and their families that started this. I want to thank Miney Milgram, Seymour Broad, members of the Shirley and Alvin Foon family, the Fishmans, Jacobs, and Steinberg families. Because of this evening like this and your support, the foundation can perpetuate and maintain the commitments for our future generations of the Hall of Fame and continue the charitable giving that we do, such as the Lawrence and Idell Weisberg Treatment Center and the Karmanos Cancer that we generate from the annual Hank Greenberg Golf Outing. At the same time, we have an event where we're honoring Dr. Stephen and Evelyn Rosen, Stars of Tomorrow Scholarship Program, which you will see a couple of the recipients tonight. We're honored to sponsor this coming year 2019 Maccabi Games in August. They're going to be back in Detroit. And I believe that's our slogan, back in Detroit, or Detroit is back, or we got your back, or something like that. But it's a wonderful event, and the Hall of Fame is very involved as far as people that are helping, and we're also a sponsor of the Maccabi Games. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and remember, there are outstanding auction items outside the doors after the program. The auction will stay open for 20 minutes during the dessert and the last-minute bidders. On top of that, there's envelopes outside, so should we touch you or should you feel some kinship that if you want to make any donations, those are available. We hope to see you at our third annual Beyond the Game Sports Panel and dinner this March. And our golf outing this year, the 29th annual Hank Greenberg Memorial Golf Invitational, is at Franklin Hills. Get your calendars out, June 3rd. I'd like to welcome now the Hall of Fame Class 2016 Father of the Year, Female Athlete of the Year, who is heard on the Jamie and Stoney Show on 97.1 in the morning. If you notice, probably during this event, he will be checking his phone to see what the 76ers Piston game is. Mike Stone.
Thank you, Stuart. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here again. 35-29 Philly, 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Thank you for coming to the annual Michigan Sports Foundation Hall of Fame, subtitled tonight, Tuesday with the Jacobsons. I mean, gosh, every Jacobson in the world's being honored tonight. It's great to see Arn Tellem and Ken Daniels here. They kind of feel a little weird here being in a building where there's not that many empty seats. Cheap shot, but true. We usually do a quick state of the sports deal before we get into the program. Obviously, collegiately, what you saw on Saturday and what you saw on basketball this year, it's been a blue year. For all the Michigan fans, this is your year to brag. In fact, Michigan State decided to actually play a Jew in the most important game of the year, Ben Carter. You didn't know he was Jewish. Unfortunately, you saw, and Michigan State lost to Syracuse. I also want to acknowledge the pro teams, and while the Pistons are 2-0 before tonight, the Red Wings are rebuilding, the Tigers are rebuilding, and believe it or not, the team that has the closest pulse to actually doing something are the Detroit Lions. Oh my God, hold me back. And there is a Kerryon Johnson jersey out there that I and other people have bid on, so he looks like he's going to be great. We got the World Series starting tonight, and I don't know if people know that in the Final Four of baseball's, the NLCS and the ALCS, there was at least one Jew on every team. So we will have a Jewish World Series champion, whether it be former Tiger Ian Kinsler for the Red Sox or Jock Peterson of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And from Milwaukee, you had Ryan Braun, and the Astros, you had Alex Bregman. So it was a good year for Jews in baseball. 35-32 Sixers now. Let's start the festivities. By the way, I do want to mention that Jim Price, of course, is here getting the Al Foon Award, and we promise that nobody's going to mess with your chair. For the first presentation this evening, it is my honor to start with an award that pays tribute to the Foundation's dear friend, Steve Rosen. It is my pleasure to introduce Marcy Rosen Eisenberg and Larry Sherman, Vice President of the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation.
Good evening. Growing up, there was never any question about the things that were important to my father. Family, of course, but anyone who knew him knew that education, sports, and Judaism were the core of his being. During his years at Michigan, he had to work every weekend and summer to pay for his college education and later his medical school tuition. And while he was an accomplished athlete, I know if he had been able to dedicate those weekends and summers to his athletic pursuits, he would have been able to go farther with his tremendous potential. I can't think of a more fitting way of honoring his legacy and the person he was. He would be so proud to know that this scholarship is helping Jewish athletes and scholars achieve their goals in his honor and preserving his memory as a generous and wonderful human being.
The Dr. Stephen of Blessed Memory and Evelyn Rosen Stars of Tomorrow Scholarship Program is designed to assist Jewish high school seniors who have dedicated themselves to achieving outstanding academics while also accomplishing and competing at the highest athletic level. Gabe Cohen's high school experience was marked with several academic and athletic accomplishments. He earned a 4.2 GPA while attending Cranbrook Kingswood High School, as well as numerous awards in swimming throughout these 4 years. Gabe's aptitude and passion for this sport led him to swimming for the Cranbrook Kingswood varsity swim and dive teams, as well as the Plymouth Canton Cruisers, reaching the national level on PCC, competing and obtaining awards from several big championship meets such as states, sectionals, and NCSA junior nationals. Swimming for his high school varsity team was one of his favorite moments, where he achieved all-state and all-county awards, as well as contributed to 2 of Cranbrook's consecutive Division III state championships. Throughout high school, he received 3 varsity letters, as well as the Coach's Award his senior year. Gabe is now attending the University of Michigan in engineering. His parents are Michelle Cohen and Michael Cohen. Ari Eisen. Ari has been interested in sports since a young age. He played Little League Baseball and attended many sports-related clinics. He represented Detroit in the 2014 and 2015 Maccabi games and served as team captain of both the soccer team and basketball teams at Farber Hebrew Day School during his high school career. A recent recipient of several leadership awards, including the Abe Selesny Leadership Award and Abe Stern Distinguished Leader Scholarship, Ari was instrumental in organizing and implementing his first annual David Tansman Tournament at Farber Hebrew Day School. He also served in many non-sports related leaderships in the National Council of Synagogue Youth and Student Council. Ari is in Israel on a gap year and then will attend Yeshiva University in New York to complete his undergraduate studies. His parents are Becky and Jerry Eisen.
Sorry I couldn't make it to the dinner. I'm currently spending my year in Israel in a gap year program, spending my year in the old city of Jerusalem. I wanted to say that I'm truly grateful for receiving the Stars of Tomorrow Award. It's great to know that all of my hard work in high school sports at Akiva, in playing in both running events and actually creating a tournament the past year has actually been noticed, and I'm really grateful for receiving the award.
Congratulations, Gabe Cohen and Ari Eisen, the 2018 Dr. Stephen of Blessed Memory and Evelyn Rosen Stars of Tomorrow Scholars.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Larry Sherman, and as co-chair of the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation, vice president of the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation, and co-chair of the Steve and Evelyn Rosen Stars of Tomorrow Scholarship Program, I want to welcome all of you here tonight. Evelyn is here. She came off the injured reserve list after her recent surgery, and she's showing how tough she is by being here tonight. I'm so happy you're here, Evelyn. And I'm so happy Steve's brother Jerry is here as well. Due to the donations, generous donations from the friends, family, and fans of Steve Rosen, we have been able to honor distinguished athletes, high school athletes who have distinguished themselves in the classroom and on the playing field. The criteria for these scholarships include financial need, extracurricular activities, and community involvement. We have had, over the past 3 years, I don't know if this is an exact count, but approximately 17 scholarships to students who have attended Michigan, Michigan State, Grand Valley State, Boston University, Tufts, Union College, Miami of Ohio, and now, as you saw, a student who's in Israel in a gap year. These young men and women distinguish themselves in a wide variety of sports: tennis, swimming, baseball, football, wrestling, hockey, softball, golf, and skiing. I feel like one of my children now that I'm looking at my phone giving my speech. The proceeds, the money goes to help these young students as they're on their way, and I can say to you that we are all so proud, and Steve Rosen would be so proud of the accomplishments of the Stars of Tomorrow student athletes, because they display the same passion, promise, great qualities that personify our dear friend Steve Rosen. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your continued support.
Will Gabe come up and his parents to accept the awards?
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation for awarding me the Steve and Evelyn Rosen Stars of Tomorrow Scholarship. This will help greatly with my academic expenses in pursuit of a degree in engineering at the University of Michigan. I would also like to thank my parents and sister for their constant support throughout my life in both school and swimming. And lastly, I would like to thank my Cranbrook varsity swim coach, Carl Hodgson, and my club swim coach, Z. Morgan, for all of their dedication and encouragement throughout my swimming career. Thank you.
Are Ari's parents here? Come on up.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Ari, as you know, he's in Israel this year. He has been an avid sports fan since he was born, and to receive this honor, as he said, is just an honor, and he is very much appreciative of all the work that he's done. So thank you very much on his behalf.
By the way, speaking of some great people here who not been acknowledged, I saw them here before, and two people here who have championship rings. The former majority owner of the Carolina Hurricanes and a great supporter of this foundation for years, Peter Karmanos, is here. And some people didn't recognize him without his fro. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Wallace in the house. As we commemorate the past, it is wonderful to celebrate the future. And to do that, I'm pleased to introduce Arthur Horwitz, president of Renaissance Media, who will present the 2018 Detroit Jewish News High School Athletes of the Year.
Thank you, Stoney, and good evening, everyone. This is the 28th year since 1991 that we've had Jewish News High School Athletes of the Year. And in many ways, this evening is special. As Stoney mentioned, it's really about connecting the past, the present, and the future. Past, of course, being inductees into the Hall of Fame, including some who are here today. Present being a couple of firsts, where we actually have a father and a son coming in both as a High School Athlete of the Year and as an inductee into the Hall of Fame. And the future being, well, who knows? Maybe it'll be one of your grandkids, right, Larry Sherman, when they're born, et cetera, et cetera. So on page 27 of your program book, you have a list, a complete list of all of the Jewish News High School Athletes of the Year. I encourage you to look at that and wonder where some of them are, and also where some of their kids are likely to be, hopefully here someday. So there are a couple of quick points I want to make. One is we have an honoree this evening for Female High School Athlete of the Year, Jessica Stone, and you'll hear a little bit more about her in the video, who happens to be Mike Stone, Stoney's daughter. And Mike is a 2016 inductee into this Hall of Fame. But as I found out from his wife, Cindy, is that when his daughter was 6 years old is when she started horse jumping, equestrian-related activities, in that her mom, Cindy, was a horse person. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Stoney, and in this case, the tree is on the female side. And also, you'll hear in a moment about Benji Jacobson, who, a tennis player down at Tulane University. Jessica's at University of Georgia, go Dogs. I believe that's what they say.
Sick 'em, woof, woof, woof.
That's right, that's right. And Benji's dad, Michael, informed me that not only is he playing tennis at Tulane, but he's supposed to be studying for calculus this evening. So we will check on that. But in the meanwhile, if we can go to the video, we can get to meet a little bit more, see a little bit more about our two recipients for Jewish News High School Athletes.
The Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation has established several programs aimed at recognizing the accomplishments of exceptional high school athletes, both on and off the field, and fostering athletic participation within the young Jewish community. We recognize two outstanding athletes as the Jewish News Athletes of the Year of 2018. Jessica Stone is a West Bloomfield graduate who succeeded academically during high school, earning a 4.2 GPA, even though she was traveling on almost a weekly basis to an equestrian competition in the Midwest and South. In 2018, Jessica qualified for all the major year-end horse shows, including winning the Capital Challenge in Marlboro, Maryland this September, the Washington National Horse Show, Maclay Regionals, and Pessoa Finals. Jessica is currently a freshman at the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia, where she is on the nationally ranked equestrian team. She's the daughter of Cindy and Michael Stone.
Sorry I can't be there in person tonight to share this honor with everyone. I would like to thank the Jewish News and the Jewish Sports Foundation for this great honor. Congratulations to Ben and all the other honorees. I want to thank my family for supporting me all these years. Mom and Dad, you are the best, and I love you so much. Thanks again for this amazing honor. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Benjamin Jacobson played his first tennis tournament at 7 years old, igniting a passion shared by his parents, twin sister, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. In each of his 4 years at Cranbrook, Benji earned All-State, All-Academic, All-County, and All-Catholic League. Benji earned the honor of High School All-American 3 times. Benji was state finalist at #1 singles his freshman year and was state champion at #2 singles his sophomore year. Benji won the state championship at #1 singles his junior and senior years. With Benji at the helm, Cranbrook won 3 consecutive state championships. In 2018, Benji capped off his senior year by being named Cranbrook's Male Athlete of the Year. A member of the National Honor Society, Benji also made the Dean's List at Cranbrook while pursuing his athletic goals. Benji is a freshman at Tulane University where he will begin his college tennis career. His parents are Robin Jacobson and 2018 Hall of Fame inductee Michael Jacobson.
First off, I'd like to thank my parents. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. They told me I could be as great as I want to be as long as I work really hard at it. I'd also like to thank my twin sister, Bella. She's my best friend. She's always been there through thick and thin for me. I'd also like to thank my high school teammates. Without them, we couldn't have won 3 state championships. Lastly, I'd like to thank my coaches, Pete, Armin, and Steve. They're pretty much my second parents. I was with them all the time. And thank you again for this awesome honor. Also, congratulations to my dad, who's being inducted in the Hall of Fame tonight. It's a great accomplishment. I'm so proud of you, Dad. I love you. And thank you again for this awesome award.
Congratulations, Jessica Stone and Benjamin Jacobson, the 2018 Jewish News Athletes of the Year.
By the way, Benji and his twin sister and Jesse and our other daughter, twin Marissa, all 4 were born at Beaumont pretty much around the same time. Coincidence. Come on, hon. With that additional insight, if Robin Jacobson and Michael Jacobson and Cindy Stone can join Stoney and me up here, we have a little presentation. Thank you. You want to come say a word? Come on, say something. Say something.
I'm just for Benji, I'll say thank you for the honor, and I'll congratulate Mike too. I'm really proud of these guys, so.
Oh, yeah, I'll get it later. All the hard work I did teaching her how to canter, teaching her how to jump, all that kind of stuff. I mean, she did everything, and so she deserves the award. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. I'll turn it back now to Stoney.
58-53 Philly, 2:29 left. Blake Griffin with 22 in the first half already. Wow. Tonight's Pillar of Excellence recipients have officiated at the highest level and coached while mentoring the youth of our community. Let's take a look. In 2012, the Pillars of Excellence Award was established to honor a lifetime achievement to members of the community for their outstanding contributions to athletics, sportsmanship, and the enrichment of the community. The 2018 Pillars of Excellence are Robert Brown, Gary Lincoln, Elliot Butch Parnes, Dick Rosenthal, and Lenny Waldman. Robert Brown began his involvement in athletics at Oak Park High School in 1970, where he managed the football, basketball, and baseball teams. At the University of Michigan, he served as student manager of football and hockey teams from 1973 to 1977 and worked as a student assistant in the sports information department. Following graduation, he worked for the Detroit Caesars professional slow pitch softball team and served as commissioner of the Men's Professional Slow Pitch Softball League from 1979 to 1982. Robert then became state director for the Michigan United States Slow Pitch Softball Association. He was inducted in the Michigan USSSA Hall of Fame in 1991. Robert also served as general manager of the Detroit Express soccer team of the United Soccer League. Robert practiced law for 10 years, has served as director of education for New Detroit Incorporated, executive director of facilities maintenance for Detroit Public Schools, and since 2006, he's been legal counsel to several large pharmaceutical distributors. Gary Lincoln was a star high school and college athlete. At Henry Ford, where he played JV and varsity basketball, and at Oakland University, where he started at guard, he later transferred to the University of Michigan. Gary served as athletic chairman and social chairman for Moses Gomberg House. In 1973, he began teaching in Battle Creek and served as freshman baseball coach at Harper Creek. The next year, Gary became athletic director at Waddles Park Junior High. In 1978, Gary became girls varsity basketball coach at Harper Creek, and during the next 4 years, his teams won 55 games, culminating in winning the Twin Valley League Championship in 1980. Harper Creek's first ever basketball championship. In 1987, Gary became Harper Creek JV basketball coach, and in 1989 became varsity coach. Gary became executive director of Waddles Park Men's Club in 2001, and today it serves 5,000 boys and girls in baseball, softball, t-ball, floor hockey, basketball, volleyball, soccer, and lacrosse. Gary retired from teaching in 2004, but remains active in the district. Elliot Butch Parnes began his 50-year umpiring career in 1968 while attending Michigan State University officiating intramurals. At 27, he was the youngest umpire in the Professional Men's Slow Pitch League and has umpired every national police tournament held in Michigan since 1977. Butch has worked nationally, umpiring 25 women's world tournaments and 11 men's world tournaments. He has been an instructor at more than 40 Michigan umpire clinics, teaching the one-man system. He was named the Umpire of the Year in Metro Detroit Softball League in 2005 and 2015. He received the Great Lakes USSSA Divisional Umpire Award in 1986 and was inducted into the Michigan USSSA Hall of Fame in 1988. He was inducted into the National USSSA Hall of Fame in 2016. Butch has been an attorney since 1978 and served as chairman of the Oakland County Bar Association Juvenile Law Committee. In 2015, he was honored by the Oakland County Family Court judges, receiving the Sandra Silver Child Advocate of the Year Award. And in 2018, he received the 40 Years Attorney Service Award. Dick Rosenthal was a star swimmer at Central High School and began his coaching career at the Highland Park Northern Branch YMCA. Following a 2-year stint in the Army, Dick coached at the Jewish Community Center on Curtis. His success as a coach led him to further his career at Birmingham Public Schools as a physical education teacher, coaching swim teams. In a period of 9 years, his high school teams won 5 league championships. He was named athletic director at Seaholm in 1981, where he remained until his retirement in 1997. Dick coached more than 30 high school All-Americans. Dick recognized the need for swim time results for spectators and introduced his own method for attendees to view result times for each lane. The scoreboards, lane timers, were posted on the wall behind each lane. From 1953 until 1996, Dick spent summers at Camp Tanuga and for the first 18 years was the waterfront director. Lenny Waldman was a star track and tennis athlete, groundbreaking educator, and award-winning tennis coach at Berkeley High School since the mid-'80s. In 1986, Robert Gershman, a 2015 Pillar of Excellence inductee, took a chance on a 19-year-old Lenny to coach Norup Middle School boys track and field. Further, he created the first ever boys and girls junior varsity tennis teams and was instrumental in the formation of a middle school program. The boys and girls programs have earned 4 league championships, back-to-back state championship appearances with 2 finishes in the top 10 in the school's first regional championship in 2017, along with a runner-up regional championship in 2018. The program has also earned all-state academic honors concurrently for the past decade. Lenny has been honored as a 5-time MHSAA Regional Coach of the Year and earned the coveted MHSTCA Coach of the Year award in 2012. The Berkeley Board of Education has recognized his program for its athletic and academic excellence 5 times. Congratulations, Robert Brown, Gary Lincoln, Elliot Butch Parnes, Dick Rosenthal, and Lenny Waldman, the 2018 Pillars of Excellence. Please welcome the 2018 Pillars of Excellence, Robert Brown, Gary Lincoln, Elliot Butch Parnes, Dick Rosenthal, and Lenny Waldman. By the way, at halftime at LCA, 64-61 Philly. Blake Griffin, 28 at the half.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Unlike Groucho Marx, who said he never wanted to be part of any group that would have him as a member, I am extremely honored to be here tonight and to be inducted into this outstanding organization. I do want to thank the foundation and the selection committee. And of course, if I didn't thank my wife Lisa and my son Michael and my family was here, I wouldn't be going home tonight. But what makes this so special for me is not just the number of truly outstanding human beings, athletes, and community members who are members of this Hall of Fame, but the people who are in there who made such a difference in my life growing up, because I had the pleasure and the honor to deal with so many people who really impacted me, people like Sam Greenblatt and Ed Crass and Frank Goldberg and Al Delito and Howard Stone and Howard Golding, who made a tremendous difference. And then you have the Alvin Foon winners, Bo Schembechler and Mike Ilitch, who I had the honor and privilege to know and work for. If one thing you'll see, a lot of great athletes in this Hall of Fame and a lot of people who have tremendous talents. I can assure you, I've never been any taller than I am now. I have no more quickness than I had when I was 15, no more coordination. Yet, because of the people I mentioned and teammates that I had in high school and college, people like Jay Levine, even though he doesn't like to admit it, and John Wangler and Don Dufek and Tom Sebron, they took somebody with no ability and made him part of a team, gave me the opportunity to be part of something with tradition and excellence, teamwork, intensity, helping the other person, selflessness, perseverance, all things that I got to be a part of and have carried on in my life. And these are even though Jay Levine says I never had friends, I only had teammates, these are some of my best friends I've ever had. I had my high school coaches, I had Bo, I had all the coaches at Michigan, I had Mario Baracci, who's here tonight, Gary Vito, and I learned something and I took something away because they made me feel special. They gave me the opportunity to be part of something good. And all the lessons that, again, from teamwork, discipline, organization, leadership, enhancing the other person, selflessness, and really, aren't those lessons that we as Jews study in our Torah century after century and have kept us going? They're exemplified on the athletic field, but they're applicable everywhere. And I'm just so proud and honored to be a small part of this organization. My friend Mike Stone, it's really honored for you to introduce me. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my friends and family and everyone else for coming tonight. Thanks so much.
Well, as a teacher, it would be remiss of me not to have it written out on paper. They told me I had 60 seconds, and if you understand me as a teacher in the classroom, a Waldman minute, it doesn't equate in the laws of physics. So here we go. First of all, I want to thank the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation for this humbling honor. It truly is, and that's the key word I keep coming up with, humbling, to be in a room with so many wonderful people. Second, I want to thank my family, especially my wife, Robin, for their patience and understanding over the years as coaching has and continues to take up an enormous amount of my time away from them, although they do know how much I love it and I care about it. Finally, I want to thank Mr. Robert Gershman, seated right there, past Pillar of Excellence, class of 2015. You can clap for that. That's definitely... In 1986, he took a chance hiring the youngest coach in school history at barely 19 years old. I don't know what he was thinking because the liability present day would just be off the chart. And I hope I didn't disappoint him. He gave me that opportunity and put me on my career path as a coach and probably as a teacher as well. Over the years, I hope to have brought pride to my family, my teams, and our programs. Thank you all so much.
Hi, Bob. Good to see you. Unlike some of the others, I can't do it off the cuff either. In my short time to speak this evening, I do have lots of folks to thank, of course, starting with the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation for even considering me for this honor. I am really, truly humbled. To Steve Matz, I know you're out there somewhere, for nominating me. Steve was one of my old JCC swimmers from, I don't know, 1,000 years ago, who I might add at 66, he's still swimming competitively, so that's great to hear, Steve. To Howard Stone, a former athletic director, colleague of mine from Oak Park, we're going to have an OAA convention here, who made the phone call to invite me to be one of the honorees of this evening in this evening's induction. I am really appreciative of all my friends, relatives, former swimmers who are here this evening to help me celebrate the event. It's brought back some emotion in me that I never really thought that I had. A special thanks to my daughter Amy and to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Hal and Carol Topple, who all three came in from California this evening. To my son Jeff and my daughter-in-law Sherry, who didn't come in from quite as far, but a 2-hour drive from Grand Rapids is still a drive. Larry Leibowitz came in from, where did Larry come in from? Larry is one of my old JCC swimmers, and I'm really glad that he's here this evening. And last, but of course by no means least, my wife Barb, who between both my coaching days, my athletic director days, put up with some pretty crazy hours that I had, lots of years of late night meals, and at times we had a pretty restricted social life. In my thoughts of my 17 years as AD at Seaholm, I would like to think of all the student athletes, coaches, parents, officials, administrators that I was in contact with, and hopefully said that I ran a pretty good program with just minimal screw-ups. Finally, in my coaching memories, it would be nice to know that when my name was mentioned by over 700 swimmers in my 27 years of coaching, that they too could look back and have some pretty nice memories, and that I even made a small impact in their lives. Again, thank you so much for the honor. It really means a great deal to me. Thanks.
Good evening. I would first like to thank the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation for this great honor. It is very humbling. I would also like to congratulate all the other recipients tonight. I've been fortunate to umpire slow pitch and fast pitch softball for 50 years, spanning some 6 decades. When I was inducted into the National United States Specialty Sports Association Hall of Fame in 2016, I believe I became the first and only Jewish member of the Hall of Fame since its beginning in 1979. I had the awesome opportunity and thrill to be behind the plate and calling balls and strikes during the existence of the Michigan the men's professional slow pitch leagues from 1977 to 1982, working in 3 World Series in Detroit, Maryland, and Philadelphia. I believe I was the youngest umpire at the age of 27. Like many of you here tonight, I grew up in the 50s and 60s, having the baseball cards and watching former Tigers Norm Cash, Mickey Stanley, Jim Northrup, and yes, Jim Price, who's being honored here tonight. Being on the same field with them and calling balls and strikes, hopefully calling more strikes than balls for them, in front of 5,000 to 6,000 fans every night was just amazing. My late father, Jack, was fortunate and left Europe as a teenager in around 1935 to escape the serious anti-Semitism that existed. Both my mother and father served during World War II. My father was a president of the Michigan Jewish War Veterans. I wish he could have been here tonight to see this. My mother, Ruth, who will be 96 years old in March and living on her own, and her picture is on page 20. She lives in Pompano Beach. She told me that she won World War II single-handedly. And I have to believe her because no Jewish mother would ever lie to their son. She told me of the many occasions that she skipped Wayne State University classes to go watch Hank Greenberg play at Tiger Stadium. My mom couldn't make the trip tonight from Florida, so hopefully I will be able to send her the video. I want to thank all of my partners and crewmates over the years. Judy, my lovely wife of 35 years, and our son Jake are here tonight, and I want to thank them both as well as my relatives and friends who are here tonight. And finally, I recently heard that the devil challenged God to a baseball game. God said it isn't fair. I have Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Hank Greenberg, Schoolboy Rowe, Charlie Gehringer, and Ty Cobb. And the devil laughed and said, it's okay. I have the umpires.
Congratulations to all the inductees tonight. And I want to thank the following: my wife of 47 years, Gigi, our children, Jeff, Ben, and Ruth, our son-in-law, Dan Feldman, my best friend, David Heiger, who will always be my best man, Brian Stanhouse, one of Henry Ford's finest, my parents, Ann and Charlie Lincoln of blessed memory, my friends and relatives and the members of Temple Bethel in Battle Creek, also the volunteer coaches and the over 100,000 boys and girls that have participated over the last 40 years in our recreation program in Battle Creek. In conclusion, I want to thank, as I think we all do, Hank Greenberg, a guiding inspiration for upholding our Jewish values in a secular world. In 1934, 84 years ago, Hank Greenberg told the Detroit Tigers that he was not going to play on Yom Kippur. Edgar Guest wrote the following poem in tribute. The Irish didn't like it when they heard of Greenberg's fame, for they thought a good first baseman should have an Irish name. And the Murphys and Mulroneys said they'd never dreamed to see a Jewish boy from Brocksville out where Casey used to be. In the early days of April, not a Dugan tipped his hat or prayed to see a double when Hank Greenberg came to bat. In July, the Irish wondered where he'd ever learn to play. He makes me think of Casey, old man Murphy dared to say. And with 57 doubles and a score of homers made, the respect they had for Greenberg was being openly displayed. But upon the Jewish New Year, when Hank Greenberg came to bat and made 2 homers off pitcher roads, they cheered like mad for that. Come Yom Kippur, fast day worldwide to the Jew, and Hank Greenberg, to his teaching and the old tradition true, spent the day among his people, and he didn't come to play. Said Murphy to Mulroney, we shall lose the game today. We shall miss him in the infield, and we'll miss him at the bat. But he's true to his religion, and I honor him for that. Thank you.
Congratulations to all the pillars of excellence. Here one more time. Bottom first at Fenway, Red Sox leading 1-0. The Shirley and Alvin Foon Humanitarian Award was established to honor the memory of one of the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation's founders and the driving force behind its creation. Alvin passed away in 1987 and Shirley in 2017. This award has an illustrious history of honorees, which is included in tonight's program. Tonight, we add to that distinguished list with Lisa and Jim Price. Alvin Foon was one of the driving forces behind the formation of the Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame in 1984 and worked tirelessly on its behalf. His beloved wife Shirley carried on that legacy up until her death in February of 2017. In selecting the annual honoree, the Board of Governors searches for the individual or individuals who exemplify strong athletics in the state of Michigan and the spirit, enthusiasm, and ideals of Shirley and Alvin Foon. The Shirley and Alvin Foon Humanitarian Award honoree, Lisa and Jim Price. Jim Price signed to play with the Detroit Tigers in April of 1967 after 7 minor league seasons with the Pirates. During that time, he was named Minor League Player of the Year in 1963 with the Pirate organization. He played Major League Baseball for 5 seasons, all of them with the Tigers. He participated in 64 games, 42 of them at catcher, including during the memorable 1968 World Series championship season.
Hi again, good lookers. Jim Price is here. My name's Ernie Harwell. It's the final game of the year.
Now entering his 26th season overall on Tiger broadcasts and his 20th full season on the Detroit Tigers radio network, his other broadcast credits include work as a play-by-play man on the Chicago White Sox cable telecast, color commentary for ESPN college baseball, and anchoring weekend sports on Detroit's WJBK TV.
Jim Price, TV2 Sports.
Jim, along with his wife Lisa, founded Jack's Place for Autism, which is named after their son Jackson, who was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in 1998. Born out of their struggle to find resources, programs, and support for their son, Jack's Place is dedicated to helping families cope with everyday challenges of autism. It provides support groups, seminars, workshops, and counseling for families, a referral network to locate qualified healthcare specialists familiar with autism, and camp activities for autistic children and adults.
We also can't forget his time wearing the Old English D, including the walk-off home run he hit on August 21st, 1968, in the bottom of the 10th inning against the White Sox. Number 12, Jimmy Price. And whatever comes our
For the many wonderful resources Jack's Place provides, we honor Lisa and Jim Price with the Shirley and Alvin Foon Humanitarian Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2018 Shirley and Alvin Food Humanitarian Award recipients, Lisa and Jim Price.
This is a really tough act to follow. We are very honored and humbled to accept this award and to join past recipients who we have long admired and respected. A very special thank you to the MJSF board for selecting us, and congratulations to all the 2018 award recipients. Jack's Place was born 16 years ago out of our struggle as parents to find supports and services for our family as we were learning about our son's diagnosis of autism. To say we were terrified and overwhelmed would be an understatement. Since its founding, Jack's Place has served over 10,000 individuals, families, caregivers, and teachers through outreach, education, training, and social programs and community events. We are thankful that our programs have been so successful that they have been modeled and replicated throughout the state of Michigan. And organizers and program providers in 32 other states have used the Jack's Place model and programming to build their own supports and services. We have been blessed to have strong supporters and community partnerships, beginning with the Detroit Tiger Organization, Mike and Marion Illich, General Motors, Little Caesars, and the Detroit Red Wings, just to name a few. We continue to work on our expansion of programming and services, always focusing on awareness and quality of life for individuals living on the spectrum. We work tirelessly on our goal of a life skills center and long-term living environment, and that's the piece that's most important to us as we strive to serve our community every day. We thank all of our friends who are here, many of whom we know, who open their hearts and their checkbooks to support the Jack's Place programming. And I'll turn it over to my better half.
Thank you, sweetie pie. She's a gem. She makes Jack's Place what it is today. She travels all over the state. She takes care of, the toughest person she takes care of is me, of course my son Jack also, but she's a miracle worker, and yesterday we celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. I'm going to wrap things up. First of all, as Lisa said, we are very honored to receive this award on behalf of all the people that are on the spectrum with autism. It's a horrible thing. I want to tell you a quick story. One day we were at a restaurant. The Illich family was there, and the Price family was at another table. Jack was 10 years old at the time, and he had to go to the bathroom. So to get to the bathroom, we have to go by the Illich family. And when we did, Mr. Illich, Mike, yelled at me, "Jimmy, is that Jack? Bring Jack in here." So we took Jack in, and Mike was all excited. He said, "Jackie, how do you like my Detroit Tigers?" He said, "I hate them." I said, "Why?" "You take my daddy away." When we started this foundation, I was being recruited by some other foundations, worthy foundations. They wanted me to help raise money for their foundation, but Lisa and I decided we'd have our own foundation. And the people that were trying to recruit me says, "You'll never make it. You'll never do it." They forgot I played on the '68 World Championship Detroit Tigers, didn't they? Thank you very much. Bless all of you. Thank you so much.
Some guy named J.D. Martinez, he just drove in a run. It's 2-0 Red Sox, first inning. Hank Greenberg, William Davidson, Benny Friedman, and Harry Newman made up the first class of the Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. Tonight we add 6 more to the walls of the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. And if you haven't taken a walk upstairs through the Hall of Fame, be sure to do it before leaving this evening and walk the halls of the history of over 100 inductees in the Hall of Fame and the Pillars of Excellence. Let's begin our celebration of this class with our first Hall of Fame inductee this evening. Detroit is hockey, and Ken Daniels is the voice that we all love to hear in Hockey Town.
Grabbed by Datsuk. Feathered one back to Lashoff, who held in for Kindle. To Zetterberg, to Datsuk. What a move! Right in! Scores! Wow! Oh, a Datsukian deke, that's a beauty! It's 3-2!
Ken began calling Detroit Red Wings games for Fox Sports Detroit in 1997. And since that time, he has earned recognition from fans and peers. In 2002, the Detroit Free Press readers named him the best play-by-play announcer. In 2006, he won his first Michigan Emmy, and in 2003 and 2010, he was named Michigan Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association. Also in 2010, he received the Detroit Sports Media's Ty Tyson Award for Excellence in Sports Broadcasting. And in spring of 2013, Ken was named top sportscaster in Michigan in the Detroit Free Press poll. Ken's career began in Canada in 1989 while at CJCL Radio, and in 1991 became a host of Hockey Night in Canada on CBC TV. In 2017, Ken published his autobiography, If These Walls Could Talk, Detroit Red Wings. His newest book will focus on America's opioid epidemic. The impetus for the book is the death of Ken's son, Jamie, who died from an overdose in 2016. Ken co-founded the Jamie Daniels Foundation, dedicated to ending the shame and stigma surrounding drug addiction. Congratulations, Ken Daniels. You are a 2018 Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame inductee.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the great broadcasters and a greater guy, the one, the only, Ken Daniels, without the 80s porn stash that we just saw.
That was 80s look, wasn't it? Well, to the Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame Committee, its president, Stuart Rader, to my fellow inductees and award honorees, and the lifetime member, Howard Gurwitz, who was kind enough to have Mickey and me host this event for a few years back in the late 90s and has had my back since I moved here from Toronto in 1997. Well, my qualifications for this Hall of Fame, first and foremost, are twofold. I am Jewish, and I can speak. Growing up in Toronto, a family of 4, I am the youngest by 7 years, so it wasn't as though my siblings were looking for stiff athletic competition. In 7th grade, and standing only 4'9", 3 to 6 inches below my peers, I wasn't going to be starting point guard on the basketball team. In a game of horse, I was a pony. I could catch a ball, I just couldn't decide which hand to use. In street hockey, as a goalie, I would catch with my left hand. In baseball, I would catch with my right. I'm not certain whether that was just ambidextrous or confused. I decided it was safer talking about a game that I fell in love with at the age of 8. Hockey always fascinated me. It was just the sound of the game, albeit it was much slower in 1967 than today, just like life, I suppose. By the start of the third period on Saturday's hockey night in Canada, my older brothers would send me to bed. They probably grew tired of my formative play-by-play years. Maybe I was mixing up Red Kelly for Dave Keon, not sure. But once upstairs, I would take my yellow Panasonic two-to-loop radio, I'd put it under my pillow, and I'd fall asleep to the original voice of those 4 greatest words that play-by-play announcers use. He shoots, he scores. Foster Hewitt, as he described the game from Maple Leaf Gardens, the storied gardens. So I literally dreamed my job. And my first venture into broadcasting came over the high school PA system at Forest Hill Collegiate in Toronto, an institution that educated the likes of Saturday Night Live creator Lorne Michaels and one of the best-selling music artists of the 21st century, the world's only Black, Jewish, bar mitzvahed, multi-Grammy award-winning rapper, Drake. So from success back to me. 10:45 in the morning from the principal's office, I would take my script that I had typed the night before, and believe me, 8th grade typing was the best class I ever took. I would update the school's sports activities, and I had first-hand experience about writing about the school hockey team because I played on it. Coached by Mike Keenan, one of the winningest and hard-nosed coaches in NHL history. He won a Stanley Cup coaching the New York Rangers in 1994, ending the Rangers' 54-year drought. It was prior to our 12th grade hockey season starting that Mike Keenan walked into our dressing room, looked around our predominantly Jewish lineup, and in his best motivational voice, Mike said, "Look, we've got a lot of skill in this dressing room. If we all play together, we can do some great things as a group. Now, the chances of any of you in this room making the NHL, 0. The chances of one of you owning an NHL franchise, 80%. I stand before you tonight as one of the very fortunate, and I don't take that lightly, not for a day. I love what I do. And I've lived my life by the 4 Ps, although as I get older, those Ps come more frequently between midnight and 6 a.m. My brother, who's 11 years older than me in Toronto, knew that would get a laugh. My 4 Ps are passion, perseverance, perspiration, and preparation. That is what luck is. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and how we have prepared allows us to seize the moment when that moment arrives. To my late parents, Sylvia and Marvin, who lived to 87 and 96 respectively, and were married for 63 years. Thank you for never questioning my reading the newspaper when I was a kid out loud from the bathroom, pretending I was anchoring the nightly sportscast. And my mom, who first put me on stage as an early teen, asking me to walk the long aisle of Beth Shalom Synagogue in Toronto by showing up a little bit late for Yom Kippur services so everyone could see her son come sit beside her and how proud she was of him. To my beautiful wife, Rebecca, for always being by my side. Hockey is an all-consuming life. To my sweet daughter, Arlen, we've been through so much over the years, and your strength and support is inspiring. To Jamie, who was so proud of his Jewish faith, and he's looking down with pride tonight. As a family, we like to say it's not the life and the years. It's not the years and the life, but the life and the years. And Jamie would see me bored by mid-July and my golf game with no significant improvement, to which my Wabig friends here tonight can attest. And Jamie would say, "Dad, yo, you need a summer job." Well, he unfortunately gave me one. But the summer job I now have are truly what wins and losses are about. So in your honor, Jamie, we will seek to end the shame and stigma of addiction, of mental illness. Addicts do not want to be addicts. Some take something that doctors can prescribe longer than they should, and their brain just won't let them stop. This disease knows no socioeconomic boundaries. If it's not happening in your home, and my God, I hope it isn't, it's probably happening 2 or 3 doors down, because the numbers show that 200 people a day die in the United States from an opioid-related overdose. The time I'm up here, which isn't all that long, we've just lost 2 more. We need to talk about it as a community, and what better community to do so than this one that is here tonight. So please visit jamiedanielsfoundation.org, as my family has partnered with Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. Our ultimate goal is to build the Jamie Daniels Recovery Center here in Michigan, long-term, safe, affordable housing while recovering addicts with jobs can acclimate themselves back into society. Had Jamie had that safe environment with no shame on anyone's part, because it's the shame and the stigma that precludes recovery, we contend had we all had that and a safe, sober home, Jamie would still be alive today. But I know he's celebrating with us tonight, so thank you for this. Thank you.
Ken Daniels, ladies and gentlemen. The next time you pull into a super car wash in town, realize that this family business is where the next Hall of Famer is putting his winning career off the field to work nowadays. Todd attended North Farmington High School, where he began playing football as a sophomore, and by his senior year was a two-way starter playing wide receiver and defensive back, and was selected as the team MVP. He was recognized with multiple awards, including All-Area First Team, All-Lakes Division First Team, All-Metro North First Team, and All-State Honorable Mention. Todd accepted a football scholarship to Grand Valley State, where he was a 4-year letterman and a 3-year starter. He set Grand Valley records for most receiving yards in a quarter with 121 in 1990, and receptions in a single season with 49 in 1992. He was a co-captain on the 1992 Conference Championship team and was selected All-Conference First Team. He finished 5th all-time in Grand Valley receiving with 85 receptions, 1,297 yards, 15.26 yards per reception, and 8 touchdowns. Todd serves on the Board of Trustees and various young adult committees at Temple Israel, and is still involved with football by running and assisting in youth programs, as well as working with young athletes on their fitness, proper diet, and nutrition.
Todd, what's up, buddy? Can you believe it's almost been 30 years since you came to Grand Valley? As you can tell, I've certainly not changed over the years. Still as young and as spirited as ever. But in all seriousness, what a ride we had during your career. 3 conference championships, 3 NCAA Division II playoff appearances. What an incredible ride we had, and now this honor. Congratulations, Todd, on your induction into the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation Hall of Fame.
Hey, Todd, first off, I hope you and the family are doing well. I think about those Grand Valley State teams all the time, in particular, those first couple of teams that I coached during your junior and senior season. You guys are an incredible group. You really helped the young and untested head coach figure out how to succeed in this business. Thank you and congratulations on your upcoming induction to the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Todd Gasson. You are a 2018 Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame inductee. Congratulations, Todd. I guess Notre Dame people aren't all that bad.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation, for this unbelievable honor. I am so humbled to be standing up here tonight. I have a lot of family and friends here tonight, and I appreciate everyone being here. Also, I just wanted to say, just to be some of the past inductees, to be in the same company, some of whom I know personally and looked up to when I was younger, is very special to me. To my mom and dad, you guys have always been my biggest fans. and supportive of everything I have done and chosen. All the long car rides or airplane flights, you guys never missed a game. To my brother Ryan and business partner today, who got dragged around to all my games in sports growing up. To my beautiful wife, Monique, you are the perfect partner in my life. And the rest of my crew, Riley, Brennan, and Sage, I am and always will be your biggest fan. At Grand Valley, I was fortunate to play on some great teams with some great players. Some of those players are here tonight. We all had some tremendous individual successes, but as a group, any of them will tell you the thing that we were most proud of was the success we had as a team. Monique and I, we talk a lot as a family with our kids about the things that we can do, the things that we can achieve if we put our mind to it, that the words can't or cannot are not allowed to be said in our house. My kids are out there rolling their eyes right now saying, oh boy, here we go. My redshirt freshman year at Grand Valley was a tough year for me. This was a year I'd actually contemplated walking away from football. This was a year before Brian Kelly took over, and our head coach at the time was a man named Tom Beck. When the season was over, I wanted to tell Coach Beck that I was a better player than the way I had performed that year, and I didn't want him to think that was all I could be. I was 19 at the time, and I remember pacing outside his office off and on for 2 days before I finally had the courage to walk in and sit down face to face with him and tell him what I wanted to say. He sat and he listened. I told him how disappointed I was in myself, and I told him I was going to work even harder to be a better player the following year. He told me something simple that I'll never forget. He said, Todd, tough times never last, but tough people do. It's a moment that I think of often, especially when things aren't going my way, that things are going to get better, but that to make them better, you have to put the work in, you have to go out and get it, that it's not what you can't do, but what you can do. Thank you again for this great honor. Congratulations to all the other inductees and award winners. And again, everyone that's here tonight, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Todd, a 2018 Hall of Fame inductee. CBS News has welcomed her, the new co-host, named her that, of CBS Morning Saturday, and we are happy, to welcome this Michigander back home.
You know, you never know who's going to land around here. I am with Tama, the Hawk here in Seattle. You probably didn't know there's no such thing actually as a Seahawk. The games don't start till Tama flies out, of which Tama would like to do right now because it is very windy, as we mentioned earlier. Don't worry, Tama will be okay and be with me. They tell you not to work with live animals, but I am. But basically the wind being 50 miles per hour gusts.
This is the single greatest live hit in the 2-year history of the pregame show.
Earlier this year, Dana completed her 4th season as sideline reporter for the NCAA tournament, and earlier this summer, CBS News named her as a new co-host of CBS This Morning Saturday. Dana attended Andover High School and graduated from the University of Michigan. She began her career in Traverse City. She also worked in Sacramento as a weekend sports anchor before landing a job at ESPN as a studio anchor and then became an anchor on SportsCenter. Dana continued in sports radio, filling in on Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio. At ESPN, she was part of the team that revamped Cold Pizza, building the show into one known for its interviews and offbeat approach. Dana also became anchor of X Center before returning to SportsCenter in 2012. In January of 2013, Dana helped launch CBS Sports Radio as one of its morning show hosts. She also joined CBS Sports TV working on the Jim Rome Show, along with Inside College Football and Basketball on CBS Sports Network. In 2015, Dana gave up radio to return to TV full-time with CBS Sports and Spike as host of PBC on Spike.
Last time we went to the Sweet 16, we had Craig Sager, and we did a tribute for him, so we're going to do the same thing for you.
Guys, back to you.
Congratulations, Dana Jacobson. You are a 2018 Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame inductee.
Congratulations, Dana. Welcome back home tonight.
A lot of hairstyles is what I always like about looking back at those videos. The guys don't have that. It's not fair. To my fellow honorees and inductees tonight, congratulations to all of you, and to the members of the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation. Thank you for this honor, and thank you for allowing me to come home to accept something that I'm so proud of. Sari, you learned that even though I work in TV, I really do need deadlines, so thank you for those. And I really would not be here if not for Howard Stone, who I can only refer to as Mr. Stone, who nominated me for this. I grew up with his daughter, Lisa, and for you to think of me to be inducted into this just means so much to me. I'm actually thinking back as I'm here at the JCC to growing up here when I was a kid, and I swam at the JCC and at Orchard Valley, and there's no way that I could have imagined what my life would become, and especially a life in sports. You know, back then, sports to me was just what I loved to do. Swimming, basketball, horseback riding, name it. It was something that I enjoyed. And it's funny because that was when Title IX was coming into vogue. I didn't know that at the time, but suddenly girls, it was okay for us to play sports. But we weren't the cool kids in school like the girls are now. The one thing, though, all along as I kept playing sports, I had my parents in my ear, my mom and my dad telling me that I could do anything, that no matter my gender, I could achieve whatever I set my mind to. And I cannot tell you how powerful a message that was, even though at the time I didn't realize it. I certainly would not be here without them, and I'm so sad that neither one of them could be here tonight. I do have family here. I have my pseudo-moms in Carol and Sandy, and I think between the two of them, I spent every Jewish holiday as a kid with one or the other. And my brother Mark, who flew in on his day off just to be here with me because family does matter. He was my first lesson in competition, and I will not reveal who used to be the better competitor. Leave that up to you. We lost my dad 7 years ago, and that is why he cannot be here tonight. He taught me every sport that I ever played. I swam like him, I played basketball like him, and up until his dying day, there was no one that was prouder of everything that I accomplished. He actually was bragging to the doctors and nurses in the hospital about his daughter on ESPN, and when I showed up, was like, "Why aren't you on TV? You're supposed to be on TV." And my mother took over that role while she held it alongside him as well. She's gonna kill me if she actually got FaceTimed for this right now, but earlier this month she was having some surgery. She's fine, thank God she's fine, but she couldn't be here because of that. But I'll never forget the look in her eyes when just before she's going into surgery, some of the members of her medical team recognized me from television, and she just started beaming all over again. Again, as a kid here at the JCC swimming, there's no way I could have known how sports would bring such pride to my family and bring so much to my life. My friend Deb, who's also my producer at CBS Sports, came into my life because of sports, and I can't thank her enough for making the trip out here. My fiance, Sean, a lot of people have asked what he does. Well, he works in the world of sports, and he was on my show with me at ESPN, and that's how we met. He gave up a day and a night with his son, which those of you who are parents know what that means, so he could be here. So I thank you as well. Those of you that went to Michigan, we had a really good weekend. And it reminds me of something right now. The team, the team, the team. I've mentioned some of my team here tonight, and there is no doubt in my mind that I would not be here without them. So I thank them, and I share this honor with them. Thank you very much.
From one Jacobson to another, Mike had no choice to play sports and be good. It was almost the family business. His father, a great athlete, brothers and sisters also followed in the family love of competitive sports. I would imagine one day we'll be honoring Benji too, but now let's take a look at Michael's story. Mike grew up playing football and tennis and led Berkeley High's football team as his senior year to its first winning season in 20 years. Piling up 879 yards in total offense, he rushed for 554 yards and caught 21 passes for 325 yards. He earned All-League, All-Area, All-County, and honorable mention All-State. Carrying his football mentality onto the tennis court allowed Mike to achieve a national tennis ranking.
At Berkeley, he played #1 singles all 4 years. He had a 47-1 record in dual meets, and in Southeastern Michigan League meets, he compiled a 30-0 dual meet record and won all 4 league tournaments he played in. Mike continued tennis at the University of Colorado, where he played #1 singles and doubles and earned Colorado University Athlete of the Week and Big 8 Player of the Week honors. You can still see Mike on the courts at Franklin Hills Country Club, where he has won the club singles championship 12 times. He has served as the co-chair for the Care House Gala, which helps families in southeastern Michigan cope with abuse. Congratulations, Michael Jacobson. You are a 2018 Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame inductee.
Congratulations, Michael Jacobson.
Well, I don't know what Dana was talking about, men with not worrying about hairstyles, because you can see I clearly worry about mine. I want to first thank the foundation. This was a great award, a tremendous honor, and to be inducted with such great company, I really appreciate it. I, of course, want to thank my son, Benji, who couldn't be here tonight, obviously, but for his achievement on Athlete of the Year. Truth be said, his sister, Bella, his twin sister, who's here tonight, I'm very proud of you, and you're actually the best athlete in the family. So Benji, again, wanted to thank everyone tonight. He's probably studying, hopefully, or on the tennis court, and hopefully he's not on Bourbon Street tonight. I would like to first thank my parents, Ozzie and Jane Jacobson. I love you guys. You guys were there for me every day during my athletic career, and they're still here today supporting me in everything I do. Dad, you are the most beautiful natural athlete I've ever seen. You coach me from the time I was probably 6 years old, and you were an amazing coach, very supportive, very reassuring, and only yelled at me when I threw an interception on the football field. So appreciate that. Little did you know about my dad, what he said, which I carry with me today. He said, if you're gonna do it, you have to practice. You can't just go out there unprepared. So as a prior inductee said, you have to be prepared for everything in life. 2 things I want you to know, Dad. First, why'd you put the tennis racket in my right hand? I'm a lefty. Secondly, why did you always let me beat you? From the first time we played tennis when I was 8 years old, you let me beat me. You let me beat you. And I don't know why you do that. It still upsets me to this day. Mom, you are a pillar. You're the strongest competitor that I know. Unbelievable athlete, and your competitiveness every day shows me how to be competitive. People think my mom's like the sweetest, nicest lady, but she is a tiger. One story about my mom, she would take me to the orthopedic surgeon every Monday during football season just to make sure my body was intact. However, in my sophomore year of high school, towards the end of the season, I broke my collarbone when I was tackled. She took me to 6 different orthopedic surgeons. They all said it was too dangerous to play. Well, my mom, she had to take me to the 7th one, who happened to be her friend, who said, oh, don't worry about it, you can play. My shoulder still hurts me to this day. Lastly, I'd like to thank Adam Cohn and Jeff Kretschmer, my 2 best friends since kindergarten. They are unbelievable friends. They're my brothers. They are just incredible. I honed my athletic skills on the courts, on the fields, in the backyards in Huntington Woods. Adam Cohn, people wouldn't realize it, but he was my first lineman in middle school, even though he's 5'6". He was a great lineman. Jeff, I really appreciate you letting me beat you in tennis after we watched McEnroe and Borg 20 times growing up. That really helped my confidence. So again, thank you to the foundation. It's a great foundation. I truly hope we all support the Jamie Daniels Foundation, because I think that's really important. And again, really appreciate the award. Thank you.
Al Nagler loved all sports, but hockey was where his love was, and so much so that he once lost his voice when broadcasting a 6-overtime game. Here is his story. Al grew up playing sports in Elmira, New York. In 1928, he enrolled at the University of Detroit, where he was a student manager of the varsity football team and as a member of the Alpha Epsilon Pi organized intramural sports competitions. Al was also University of Detroit's athletic department publicity director, and that's when he got his big break. In 1931, WJBK was in the market to hire a football announcer. Leading candidates auditioned by calling the play-by-play of a U of D scrimmage game. Al was not an applicant, but had the keys to the stadium press box, so he was called to open it and decided to hang around while the other applicants auditioned. Intrigued, he asked to try out. He ended up getting the job. That chance encounter led to a 29-year sports media career as play-by-play broadcaster and sports director of WJBK and WXYZ. He did play-by-play of many sports, but his favorite was hockey, and in fact, he was the voice of the Red Wings March 24, 1936, when they played a 6-overtime playoff game against Montreal.
Bruneau takes a whack at it. He scores!
Al was a member of the Detroit Sports Broadcasters Association and served as the president in the early 1950s. He was subsequently honored as a Detroit Sports Broadcasters Association Lifetime Honorary Member. Al finished his career as publicity director for the Windsor Raceway. Al passed away in May of 1988. We honor the memory of Albert Al Nagler into the Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Al Nagler of blessed memory, and accepting on behalf of Al, our family members Elaine Greenhut and Kerry Greenhut.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very pleased to accept this honor on behalf of my late great-uncle, fast-talking Al Nagler. To me, Al was a celebrity and an enigma. He came from Elmira, New York to study at the U of D around 1930 and stayed in town until moving to Canada in about 1960 when I was just 10 years old. He lived there until his death in 1988. I remember seeing him only a handful of times, mainly at weddings and bar mitzvahs. Amateur family genealogists like me commonly regret not starting to ask questions about relatives earlier in life. When I suggested Al's name to the Hall of Fame committee, all I knew about him was that he'd been a Red Wings announcer. Learning that I had to come up with his biography, I began digging in earnest to find out more. I'd like to thank Amanda Vogt and Marcel Parent of the Detroit Red Wings organization for their assistance. The Detroit Jewish News Foundation Archives was also a great source of information, as was Ancestry.com. After a couple weeks, I knew quite a lot more about my great-uncle. So I feel that I am also a winner tonight for having gained a greater appreciation of my Uncle Al's life and accomplishments. Thank you.
It is often said the best is for last, but tonight is all about the best. Yet since Arn Tellem has come to Detroit, he has done everything to engage creating best for the city and the Detroit Piston organization. Arn is vice chairman of Palace Sports and Entertainment, which includes the Detroit Pistons. He joined Palace Sports and Entertainment in 2015, following a distinguished career as one of the top player agents in sports. He has broad responsibility for business strategy, planning, and development. In 2017, he served as chief negotiator in the Pistons' return to Detroit. He spearheaded numerous community partnerships, earning national recognition. Committed to making an impact in Detroit,
The club's community relations efforts were recognized by ESPN as a finalist for its 2016 Sports Humanitarian Team of the Year. Arn began representing professional players in the early 1980s. In 1989, he founded Tellem & Associates, which was acquired in 1999 by SFX Entertainment. Arn served as CEO of SFX Sports until he joined Wasserman Media Group and then joined the Detroit Pistons following 9 years at Wasserman. Arn's accolades include, in 2004 and 2005, he was the only NBA player agent named as one of the Sporting News 50 most influential people in sports business. In 2006, Sports Business Journal named him the most influential agent in sports. And in 2013, Forbes ranked him the most powerful agent in basketball.
I just want to say congrats to Arn Tellem on being honored by the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation. Would have loved having you here tonight, but we can. But I'm happy for you, and you know how much I love you, and I'm excited for you.
Arn, what's up? It's JJ. I just wanted to say congratulations on being honored by the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation. You are without a doubt a Hall of Famer in so many ways. Congrats on your latest honor. I'm very lucky to call you a friend and a mentor. However, I'm a little surprised that you're missing the game.
Congratulations, Arn Tellem. You are a 2018 Michigan Jewish Sports Hall of Fame inductee.
Arn Tellem, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, the Sixers leading 103-100, and his friend Joel Embiid has 27, and J.J. Redick has 17. Yeah, down 3, 7 minutes left.
I can't believe I'm missing this game. The timing isn't the greatest. The good news is I represented those two players, and now my son, who's not here, is representing them. So either way, our family goes home a winner tonight. But I hope the Pistons win. We're down 3. Blake's playing out of his mind. Anyway, it's good to be here. I really appreciate this honor and the opportunity to be here with you tonight. I want to congratulate my fellow inductees who have made their mark not only in sports, but in their commitment and impact in this community. And I want to thank the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation for this honor. Tonight's celebration brings back memories of one of the happiest days of my life. The bar mitzvah of my oldest son, Michael, who represents Joel. The theme for his bar mitzvah was great Jewish athletes. We had 35 tables, each named for a famous Jewish athlete. It wasn't long before we exhausted the legends like Hank Greenberg and Sandy Koufax and Sid Luckman, and we're down to the likes of Sidney Franklin, who I know you all know as the greatest matador to ever emerge from Flatbush. If you were unlucky enough to be seated at table 35, you had to settle for my favorite player of all time, Red Klotz, a semi-pro basketball player best remembered for coaching the Washington Generals, a team that lost 12,389 straight games to the Harlem Globetrotters. For Red Klotz, losing wasn't everything, it was the only thing. At my own bar mitzvah, I gave up my dream of playing with Wilt Chamberlain and Billy Cunningham, and just like Ken Daniels said, refocused on Jewish sports figures who made their mark more in arrow shirts rather than team jerseys. So my heroes became the broadcaster Howard Cosell, labor leader Marvin Miller, and Philadelphia sports writer Stan Hochman. In high school, I was an aspiring sports writer when I met Hochman at the annual Philadelphia Sports Writers Dinner, where actually Howard Cosell was the featured speaker in 1971. And I sat next to him, and it was a great honor to be near Stan. And we had a long talk that night, and he advised me, he said, Arn, instead of becoming a reporter, which was my goal then, he says, you can make a greater impact on sports by going to law school, which I did. And Stan was right. The University of Michigan Law School opened the door to a lifelong friendship with Steve Greenberg, Hank Greenberg's son. After graduation, I joined Steve's firm in Los Angeles, where he became my mentor and later partner. Together, we built a sports practice together. His father, Hank, would often join us for lunch at the Beverly Hills Tennis Club and regale our clients and recruits with stories and career advice. To this day, having met so many great athletes, I can say to all of you here, to a community that revered Hank, there is no greater person, no greater athlete, no one with his intelligence, wit, charisma than Hank Greenberg. It was one of the great privileges of my life to spend 7 years with him. Steve Greenberg is still one of my closest friends. I'd like to thank him and his wonderful wife, Myrna, for supporting this special event. It's probably kismet that I'm actually here in Detroit. What makes this moment particularly poignant for me is that I'm joining Hank and Steve as inductees. The best part of my adventure here in Detroit has been being welcomed by this community and the Jewish community. Since I arrived 3 years ago, I've made many meaningful friendships at a time in my life when I thought that it was no longer possible. I really wasn't looking for friends. I was trying to shed people in my life. But actually the opposite happened. I made so many friends here, and some are here tonight, like J.J. Modell, Peter Carmanos, who are supporting this event, and I appreciate it so much. I draw inspiration while I'm here from the legacy of another inductee, Bill Davidson, a constant reminder to me that you can build successful businesses while keeping your character and integrity intact and extending goodwill to the community. Bill was a leader whose legacy of good deeds has been perpetuated by his son, Ethan. During my 3 years here, Ethan and his wife, Gretchen, have welcomed my wife, Nancy, and I into their family and have been incredibly supportive, providing great insight and support in all the efforts that we've made on behalf of the Pistons and in this community. We are so grateful for their friendship. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my parents, who are back in Philly, probably watching the basketball game tonight, and who would have loved to have been here for this evening. I thank them for their belief and confidence, encouraging me always to dream big, and especially, most importantly, for the love of brisket that they instilled in me. After spending my entire professional life in LA, I couldn't have made the leap to Detroit without the support of my wife, Nancy, and our 3 sons, all of whom have molded their careers around pro basketball. Our youngest son, Eric, who works for the Pistons and challenges every decision I make, made the choice to go to the game rather than come here tonight. Coming here was a family decision, and Nancy has not just been supportive, but has embraced the move as well. Detroit has become our home, and we truly love it here. I want to acknowledge some of the people that I work with that surprised me here, and I really appreciate it. Charlie Metzger and Ted Van Zelst, and my 4th son, Josh Bartelstein, who someday will go into this Hall of Fame as well, and was one of my first hires here when I came to Detroit. And I also want to thank, I had the privilege of representing so many wonderful athletes, and Ben, I really appreciate you showing up and surprising me here, and there is no one better than Ben Wallace. So Ben, thank you for coming. Finally, which brings me to Tom Gores, the Pistons owner. I wouldn't be standing here tonight if it wasn't for Tom. I want to thank him for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to help transform the Pistons and make it a force of good in this community. He has empowered me and given me the freedom to do what we have achieved so far. A successful franchise is only as good as its ownership, and we have the very best in Tom. and it really is a privilege to work with him. And I'm looking forward to doing it for many years to come. I can truly say that this has been the most exhilarating time of my professional life, and we're just getting started. So thank you very much. Thank you, Foundation, and congratulations again to everyone. It's been a great evening, and I really am happy to have been here and accept this honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arn. 4 minutes left, Philly 108, the Pistons 107. And the World Series is 2-2 after 3. That about wraps it up. On behalf of the Michigan Jewish Sports Foundation, thank you very much for coming to celebrate the achievements of all our distinguished honorees. We hope to see you in March at Beyond the Game, our sports panel and dinner, also emceed by me. And again, June 3rd for the 29th Annual Hank Greenberg Memorial Golf Invitational at Franklin Hills Country Club. Please remember, the celebration continues in the JCC lobby for dessert and coffee, and the silent auction will close in 20 minutes. Thank you, and if you can remember tomorrow, if you're up between 6 and 10, myself and Jamie, 97 won the ticket. Good night, everyone. Drive safely.